All eyes on Adrian Peterson, week 2. Turn back the clock. Who could forget week 15 of last year against the Washington Redskins? Injured on a carry off to the left side, tearing the ligaments in his left knee, requiring reconstructive surgery. Would he be back for this year? You better believe it. For more on that, here's Laura Oakman.
Tom, everyone was looking to last Sunday to see how Adrian Peterson's knee would hold up, but Adrian told me he was looking to Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Normally, he said it takes about a day, if even, for his body to recover after a game, but he said he got a little nervous this week when it took 3 days for the soreness to subside. But he said once it did, it felt stronger and more stable than it did this week, last week at this time. He said he's at 95%, that 5% being the explosiveness and the cutting. Tom, that's something he wants to see more of today.
So too does his head coach, Leslie Frazier, beginning his second year. 3-13 a season ago, replaced Brad Childress as head coach 10 games into the 2010 season. And the first shot at being an NFL head coach for Chuck Pagano. Spent the last 4 years in Baltimore, last year as its defensive coordinator. And he doesn't like using that word. In fact, he won't use that word R for rebuilding. Because Coach Billick, he feels like he owes it to some of the veterans to feel like it's a next man up. We got to get things done right here and right now.
And that's the way to approach it. Guys like Reggie Wayne and Robert Mathis and Dwight Freeney, they don't want to hear that rebuild. They're at the stages of the career. We want to win now. But they understand they're very young. This would be a big win for both teams, but obviously for Indianapolis, when you're starting out new like Chuck Pagano, you want to establish that the things you're doing are going to work for this organization, and a win at home in the opener against a beatable Minnesota Viking team would be just the ticket.
Minnesota won the toss, selected to receive, so hoping to put the ball into the hands of the electrifying Percy Harvin, who has returned 4 kickoffs for touchdowns in his very short NFL career. McAfee spins it away, and Harvin, at least 7-8 yards deep out of the end zone, will bring it out. And he crosses the 20 up to the 23-yard line. Harvin, along with Adrian Peterson, a couple of guys we're going to keep an eye on in this Minnesota offense for their quarterback, Christian Ponder, along with their rookie left tackle, Matt Khalil.
Yeah, we talked about Peterson and Harvin, but Matt Khalil, the first-round draft choice, outstanding pass protector, maybe the best I've seen come out of college in a long time. Needs to be a little more physical in the run game. He's going to be tested off the edge on this left side. I imagine we're going to see Robert Mathis over there a good part of this game.
First down, they give it to Peterson. And he's up across the 25. We'll see where they spot it. On a good pickup on first down, tackled by Jarrell Freeman. Peterson carried 17 times for 84 yards in week 1 with a couple of touchdowns. Ponder hitting on 20 of 27. They got off to a terrible start the first 27 minutes. Their longest drive was 6 plays spanning 24 yards, and he cranked it up thereafter.
Alert zebra! Down! Ready! Push up!
In the hands of Harvin, and he has a first down and more. Run out of bounds at the 39-yard line. Harvin touching the ball last week 11 times on offense, 6 receptions, 84 yards, 5 rushes, 20 more yards, and 88 yards in returns.
They have great faith in Christian Ponder. I mean, when you talk about a quarterback managing the game, it means you think you can play pretty good defense and you're going to run the ball, and you can't turn the ball over. Christian Ponder, that was the best thing he did last week. He did not turn the ball over.
Down! Ready! Push up!
Ponder dropped from behind by who else? Robert Mathis. He had 2 sacks in the season opener last weekend in Chicago.
Robert Mathis came off that strong side, They ended up with the tight end right on this backside. He's going to come off the backside. That's the thing you are most afraid of as a quarterback. Ponder, who's got great speed, he gets outside the pocket, he can run. But Robert Mathis, how many times have we seen this? Him running down a quarterback from behind, almost stripping the ball.
2nd and 11. Peterson try to cut it to the outside, back to the inside. That'll be a gain of 4. Corey Redding joining this team as a free agent from Baltimore. You know about the dynamic duo of Mathis and Freeney, but Freeney injured last week, will not play today.
And that's tough. Corey Redding, brought in from the Ravens, is going to solidify the inside. Mathis on the outside. The loss of Freeney obviously hurts. They're hoping that Jerry Hughes can fill in and bring some pressure opposite Mathis.
They find Harvin on the slant. He crosses midfield. It's a catch and it's a first down.
We talked about Percy Harvin being all over the field. It's one thing to motion a guy out like a Percy Harvin, Jeremy Maclin in Philadelphia. You see the same way. But Harvin takes it to the next level. He can actually line up as a legitimate wideout on the outside, whether it be at the flanker or the wideout, get bumped by a DB and can get off that bump. He's a tremendous athlete that can literally play anywhere across the field.
Peterson run out of bounds after a gain of almost 6 by Vontae Davis. Bill Musgrave, the offensive coordinator for Minnesota. He does have some pretty good weapons to work with. They moved around this offensive line a little bit. They brought in some new pieces. They've let go some old pieces like the guards Steve Hutchinson and Anthony Herrera, but he feels like they're more athletic up front.
Yes, and he's obviously waiting for his quarterback. He doesn't like calling his quarterback the manager, except that's what he wants him to do. He thinks he's capable of making the big plays as well.
He sniffed it out from the free safety spot, and that's a loss of 1.
And that's one of those things where Christian Ponder, looking down the field, right now he decides very quickly he's going out to the flat. I'm not sure he recognized where Bethea was. I don't know what he was looking at down the field, but he came off that rather quickly. That might have been very well have been the primary target, and Bethea was all over it.
That's a loss of 7, putting him at 3rd down and 11. Screen to Toby Gerhart, and he has a first down inside the Indianapolis 40, down to the 38. Another #1 pick out of Stanford 3 years ago, Gerhart.
Well, with speed off the edge like Indy has, screens like this are something you want to run a lot of. Nice job of the tight end Rudolph right there. You don't need to blow people over. Just get in the way. And Toby Gerhart, this is a big back you don't normally think of as running screens, but he gets the ball in the open field. He may not make a lot of people miss, but he's going to run you over.
So they cash in on 3rd and 11. This will be the 9th play of this opening drive of the afternoon. Gerhart takes a handoff and rumbles his way down to the 30-yard line, a gain of close to 8. Boy, he's a nice fallback guy to have, isn't he, Brian Willick, when you don't have that guy?
Yeah, and keep in mind, Adrian Peterson, as much as he's going to be the bell cow, they want to limit his touches to a degree. You don't want to wear this guy out. We also heard where Percy Harvin, they don't want to put the ball in his hands more than 12 to 20 times a game, because these guys are vulnerable. So to have a big physical back like Gerhart, what a great combination.
Harvin in motion, they give it to Peterson. And he spins his way down to the 21. There is a penalty flag. That flag coming right in the middle of the field.
Holding. Offense number 74. That's a 10-yard penalty. Replay, 2nd down.
74 is Charlie Johnson. He, of course, spent 73 games, 57 of them starts, protecting Peyton Manning right here in Indianapolis. Played left tackle last year, and after drafting Matt Khalil to play left tackle, they've moved him into left guard. 2nd and 12. And another flag down on the far side with somebody holding Harvin coming out of his breaker. Is this a legal procedure against the offense?
Illegal formation on the offense. Number 71. 5-yard penalty. Replay 2nd down.
That's a right tackle Phil Lodeholt.
Yeah, typically the offensive tackle, when he's called, many times they will warn you first. If you're taking some liberties with your pass set and you're a little deeper, as you will do sometimes, particularly against fast defensive ends like they're facing in Indianapolis, usually officials will come over and say, hey, you're cheating there, little pal. You make sure to get up on the line. They typically won't call it that early. Clearly here they did.
A couple of big penalties that pushed him back close to midfield. So on 2nd down and 17, they give it to Harvin. He clips up maybe 5, so it brings up another 3rd and long. They converted 3rd and 11 a short while ago. This time it's 3rd and 12.
And this is where Christian Ponder, you got to take the manager off the nameplate right now, because 1st and 2nd down, he's been very efficient. But if you're going to play that style of play, you've got to be able to convert on 3rd down, particularly on these long 3rd and longs. Anybody convert a 3rd short, it's a 3rd and long where you make your money.
Into the hands of Michael Jenkins. And he's to the 32, 4 yards shy of a 1st down. So out comes Blair Walsh, the rookie out of Georgia. They took him in the 6th round during the draft this year to replace the unbelievably successful and very popular Ryan Longwell. Well, you talk about a debut. Hit on all 4 of his field goal tries, a 55-yarder to tie it at the end of regulation, a 38-yarder, and what proved to be a game winner in OT. This one from 51 yards out. Draw right back through. How impressive is he?
Tell you what, when you have that kind of faith in a rookie as they're developing now, that's a real plus.
Today's game on Fox is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com.
Talk about a wild ending last week. 20 seconds left. A touchdown giving Jacksonville the 3-point lead. 55-yard field goal by Walsh tied it at the end of regulation. In overtime, Walsh hit from 38 yards, but because it was a field goal, not a touchdown, Jacksonville got the football. And on 4th down, incomplete. A wild one, and Minnesota starts the year with a win.
I spent 9 years with the Minnesota Vikings, and that building, the silence can be deafening when things aren't going well, and it was that way for about 4 quarters leading up to the last couple series, and then just exploded.
Booted out of the end zone. So we'll get a look at Andrew Luck and the Colts offense when we come back.
Today's game on Fox is sponsored by Bud Light, the official beer of NFL fans. Here we go.
Certainly a hint of autumn in the air. Temperatures in the mid-70s in Indianapolis, Indiana. And now the home debut of #1 draft pick, 23-year-old Houston, Texas native Andrew Luck. Played collegiately, starred collegiately, of course, at Stanford. And Luck will hand it off on 1st down to Donald Brown. And he's certainly one of the guys we're keeping an eye on in this Colts offense here today. They threw it 45 times last week, only ran it 15.
And that's more than they want to, even with a Reggie Wayne. And Donald Brown's going to be excellent out of the backfield. That's the balance they want. But tight end Kobe Fleener, that's the guy a quarterback loves to have. He brought his guy from Stanford. I don't have to develop anything. I'll just bring my guy with me from Stanford.
Again, Brown escapes a couple of tackles and turns it into positive yardage out across the 25. It'll bring up a 3rd down and a long 4.
And this is what Donald Brown is really all about. The draws, the single back stuff out of the backfield. Bruce Arians, the new offensive coordinator, tends to want to be a little more downhill, but Donald Brown is a good single back runner. By that I mean he doesn't necessarily want to have a guy out in front of him. Looks like they missed a face mask there. He had to reach up and even correct it. Those are the type of calls obviously these new officials have been trying to emphasize.
Third down at 4, and Luck gonna run it himself, and he has a first down up to the 33-yard line.
The athleticism of Andrew Luck, you can see here. He steps up into the pocket. He's going through his progression. A little swipe at the helmet there. Missed a shot on the helmet in the pocket. A hit on the quarterback. This is the athleticism. You see that little sidestep by Andrew Luck. He's an excellent athlete. He's not going to be Michael Vickish outside the pocket. But the way he can move in the pocket and scramble around, a lot of people recognize he's a better athlete than a lot of people thought.
Early start by Mike McGlynn, the right guard. Or was there contact made by Christian Ballard?
Encroachment. Number 98 of the defense. 5-yard penalty. Remains first down.
Obviously, they have a right to react. If the guard had not reacted to the movement, I don't know that I really saw that movement, but had the guard not reacted, it wouldn't have been a penalty. He wisely reacted and caught Minnesota now on a short 1st and 5.
And that was not 98 Guyon. It was indeed Christian Ballard, 99. So on a 1st and 5, Luck's going to put it up. Chase from behind. He'll run it again and slides his way to a first down to the 44. Pressure applied by Jared Allen. Allen coming off a 22-sack season a year ago. A half-sack shy of the NFL single-season record set by Michael Strahan.
And Allen couldn't quite get there. Jared Allen a little frustrated. He's jawing at the officials. He blamed them for taking away a sack from him last week. And they were right, by the way. Jared Allen's got to forget chewing at the officials. He's kind of using them as a scapegoat now for the reason he doesn't have a sack.
Thrown behind the intended receiver, Chris Adams.
Yeah, last week Jared Allen was very upset. He's got to jump here. This is illegal. He's offsides. Obviously, he gets a nice sack here. The penalty was called, and afterwards he was very upset, blaming it on the replacement officials. He was looking at him this time thinking, I got held. That's why I wasn't able to run down the quarterback. You know, there's an old saying, they'll walk if you let them. If you let them make excuses, they'll use it for their play.
These fans stay so quiet when the Colts are on offense, and of course that dates back to the last 13 years with Peyton Manning holding the keys to this bus. Cut back to the inside and no running room for Donald Brown. It brings up 3rd and long, tackled by Chad Greenway. Time to take a game break. Here's Kurt Menefee in Los Angeles.
Well, the Saints' struggles, I guess you could say they continue, but it's early. Still, Drew Brees shouldn't have thrown this one. Right into the hands of Charles Godfrey. 10 yards later, it's a tie ball game. Saints and Panthers all even at 7 in the first quarter. Tom and Brian.
All right, Kurt, thank you very much. Of course, the Saints were kicked around by the Redskins in their season opener last weekend. Carolina had the same done to them against Tampa Bay. And a 3rd and 9. Luck able to get it. And that is Avery on the crossing pattern for a first down to the 42-yard line. Donnie Avery healthy again.
This is normally a very dangerous throw when the quarterback steps up in the pocket. And watch here, you can see right here, Greenway's coming in, just blows up the back right over the top. Luck steps up and he goes back to his right. Normally that scares you as a coach. He had his vision down to the left, but he has such a sweet throwing action. He was able to convert.
Back to the ground game. And more. That head on by Aaron Henderson as Brown is Stopped and then some pushing and shoving. It looks like number 54, Jasper Brinkley, down at the bottom of that pile. And there is a flag down, and Antoine Winfield saying it's against the other guys.
You can see it comes in here late. We got a little bit going on in here and right up in here. Little pushing and shoving. I don't know. Well, the fact the helmet came off might make the difference.
Personal
there.
foul. Offense number 83. It's a 15-yard penalty. We play first down.
Dwayne Allen, the rookie tight end out of Clemson.
And there was some equal pushing and shoving there. I think it's just the fact that the helmet came off. Yeah, the fans are seeing it the same way right over in here. There's equal pushing and shoving here, and it's just the fact that the helmet comes off, I think, is why Allen got called.
It's a big penalty. It's 15 yards. They were at the 42-yard line of Minnesota. Now they're back to their own 45. And that's caught at the 45-yard line. Again, it's Donnie Avery. Second down upcoming. A lot of youth in this Minnesota defense, but they've got the veterans Allen, Greenway, and Winfield to help them out.
Yeah, they're wrapping around the rush end, just where you want it. The rush end, you got the guy at the second level, the linebacker level with Greenway, and then Antoine Winfield. This guy is maybe one of the most physical corners in the game. He sets the tone for that secondary, particularly with the two young safeties that Minnesota has to deal with Mistrell Raymond, he's in his second year, and their first-round draft choice, Harrison Smith.
Second down at 12, play action, and Luck looking for the home run ball to Avery, and he got it!
Avery's going to cross the field. Antoine Winfield now underestimates the speed just a little bit and the size. Antoine Winfield's 5'9", stumbled up there a little bit. Let Avery get in behind him. The last thing you want to see as a DB is the back of the number of a wide receiver.
Brown met immediately at the line of scrimmage, no gain. Greenway, a Pro Bowler for the first time a season ago in his 7th year out of Iowa. Boy, he's a ball player, isn't he, Coach Billick?
Well, and the fact that he shores up that middle part of the defense. He's without his running partner, Ben Lieber. He's having to work in with some new guys, but he's such a smart player. That's the thing that you hear from the coaches over and over. He's such a smart player.
Second and goal from the 3. Through the hands of the intended target, Kobe Fleener, 3rd and goal.
That was a good, safe pass by Luck, knowing Fleener, who again he's so familiar with from his time at Stanford, keeps it good and high. Let him go up and kind of take it off the top of the rim, so to speak. He's made how many throws to Fleener in that capacity? Big, tall, athletic receiver that he has a lot of familiarity with, obviously.
We're going to empty the backfield. Boy, he found the needle and threaded it to the tight end, the rookie Dwayne Allen. His first NFL catch is a touchdown.
This shows you the progression of Andrew Luck through the interception in this same situation against Chicago last week. Outstanding play by Tim Jennings, the DB from Chicago. Here in the same situation, comes right back. I want you to watch where he throws this ball to the tight end. It's good and low. He has to basically take it at chest level or below. It was going to be all at nothing. A nice, safe, accurate throw by the quarterback, Luck, showing that he learned from his mistake last week with the interception down in the end zone.
13-play drive. The first possession as an Indianapolis Colt here on their home turf for Andrew Luck. 80 yards, nearly 7 minutes. Game on, it ended. Good start.
Today's game is sponsored by Lexus, introducing a stunning work of technology, the entirely new Lexus ES, by AT&T, the nation's largest 4G network. AT&T, rethink possible. And by Geico, 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
Looks pretty good right there, Coach Billick. And pretty good was Andrew Luck on that drive.
Well, the thing that you love about it, tough start last week against Chicago. The 3 interceptions now were a learning experience, tough learning experience. A couple of them underthrown. I already talked about the great play by the defense in the end zone. To come back in this environment and to be put in the same situation and now convert, that's part of the learning progression you're talking about with a young quarterback. That's absolutely invaluable.
They came all the way back on that drive from the first down at 23. Again, Harvin nearly 8 yards out of his own end zone. And look out! Percy Harvin run out of bounds at the 43-yard line. We saw that 104-yard kickoff return, which was not a touchdown last year against Atlanta. This one returned 50. Peterson and the Vikings when we come back.
I want you to watch the up back, Mac Asiata. Watch how he cross blocks and right at the impact takes out the lead guy, and right here, look at the edge that they create down the field. That's how a 50-yard return gets set up.
And they give it to Peterson on first down, and he picks up 4. Peterson had 17 carries, 84 yards, and a couple of touchdowns. Did not play at all in the preseason. Underwent total knee reconstruction. And 8.5 months later, as he's trying to find his shoes, he was able to come all the way back, and as Laura Oakland reported just before the game, he feels like he's at 95%. 5 carries today, 25 yards.
That's Percy Harvin in the eye at the top. This is the versatility that Percy Harvin gives you in relief of Peterson and Gerhardt.
This guy is something, man. I asked you last year, Coach Billick, is there really a guy in the NFL you for sure would take ahead of Harvin on offense? I'm not sure. I'm going to ask you about it again when we come back. That's the end of the opening quarter. 7-3. The Colts home opener. You're watching the NFL on Fox. Window to downtown Indianapolis. Straight through the north end zone. Spectacular Lucas Oil Stadium. What a venue. Harvin in motion on first down. We open the second quarter. And the catch is made by Harvin, a gain of 8.
We got to go back to that last play on so many levels. Let's start with the wide receivers outside. Burton and Aromashadu. They come down and block. Now you see Ryan Khalil out front, the fullback Felton. Watch what they do. Khalil just leading away. Felton turning up, blowing up the support. And now Percy Harvin. You're preaching to the choir here, brother, because this guy, I agree with you. With the many things that he's done, not only outside, yeah, you'll take some guys from the outside and maybe hand it off communication. He's a legitimate eye-back.
Second down and 2 and only a yard for Toby Gerhardt. I don't know, it just seems like every time we see Harvin, he's the most explosive player we see over the course of a year. By the time we wrap up at the end of January or end of December, early January.
And like we said, he's explosive out of the backfield, running just a downhill play like that. He's explosive motioning out with crossing routes, and he's explosive down the field one-on-one with the DB.
Third down and a yard. Timeout Indianapolis. You know, Harmon had a very strange offseason. He showed up at minicamp for whatever reason, was unhappy. He had requested a trade. After that day, he missed the practice the following day, returned the next day, but didn't want to talk about anything he had said. He showed up at training camp. He said, everything's cool. I'm happy. I'm on board. I'll do whatever Coach Frazier and the Viking staff want me to do.
He's living in the moment, whatever the moment is. Remember now, he also had the issues with the migraines, which was a point as well. But this guy, yeah, you know, he just is so versatile, and you can see it is such an asset to have him along with the complement of, not to say that Adrian Peterson is a compliment, but what we say earlier, they want to be careful about not overusing Adrian Peterson. They certainly don't want to overuse Percy Harvin. They've got Toby Gerhardt. They've got the skilled people. You throw in Rudolph, the tight end. Christian Ponder, you can see why. Just manage the game, son, because you know what? Let the skill guys do their job.
All right, here we go.
Here's Harvin down here again. Now he's out of wide receiver.
Third in the yard, and they're going to hand it off. And it's Peterson who tiptoes his way inside the 20 down to the 18, and it was Rudolph who led the way, the second-year tight end out of Notre Dame.
I want you to look at Peterson here. Watch these jump cuts as he comes. Watch how many times he changes direction. 1, 2, there again, and the way he pushes. Right there, that solid change of direction to the right, to the left, again, right in through the middle. That's when they know Percy Harvin's okay. You're seeing not only him anchoring on the right, and Peterson anchoring on the right leg, the left leg, and then exploding.
Gerhardt dropped for a loss. Fili Muwala along with Robert Mathis busting behind the line of scrimmage.
And number 90, Corey Redding in the middle. Pagano told us about, he was one over. This guy has anchored the inside of the defense, came with Pagano from Baltimore. He said this was as big a pickup as they had because in the front seven, he's able to translate and set the interior of the defensive line in the way Chuck Pagano wants to run this defense.
We know Ponder can run the football. He went down headfirst right there. That's something his offensive coordinator, Bill Musgrave, is trying to get him to do. Dive headfirst rather than slide feet first.
Yeah, and I want you to, Harvin is right out into here, and I want you to watch. Once Ponder comes out, he knows where he wants to go, doesn't like to look with Harvin. He's skating out, and now this guy has much better speed. He shocked me last year how much speed he had coming out of the backfield, but he's not a real big guy. He can't afford taking a lot of hits. Hence, get down when it comes time for the contact.
Put it in Harvin's hands to try and get the first down, and he bangs his way close to it. Where are they going to spot it? It looks like he will not get the spot. So now 4th down, Coach Billick, and maybe a long yard. What are you doing here if you're Leslie Frazier?
Well, you're going to kick on. You're going to bring the field goal team on. Remember, this is a team that just won in overtime, knows what those tight games are about, all but one game into the season. This was a long, well-orchestrated drive. You'd hate to come away with no points on the road. This place would be cranking if they went for it. He's doing the smart thing and taking the points.
Spotted at the 19, 29-yard field goal attempt for Walsh, who hit from 51 already. And this one is good to draw the Vikings within one. This week, the battle for baseball's postseason continues. The Twins will take on the Tigers. Tigers in the hunt. Dodgers trying to get it as a wild card. They'll face division-leading Cincinnati. And the Braves will be in Philadelphia to the Phillies. Have a miracle run in them to get back to the postseason. 3:30 Eastern, 12:30 Pacific, Saturday on Fox. (7-6) ball game. The Colts in front. T.Y. Hilton making his NFL debut today. And he has dropped to the 15-yard line. Well, the Colts have only had it one time. It was a touchdown drive. So Andrew Luck will get it for a second time when we come back to Indianapolis.
Today's game on Fox is sponsored by Chevrolet. From kickoff to the last yard, Chevy runs deep. By Burger King and our delicious new line of salad wraps. And by Taken 2, starring Liam Neeson. The man with a particular set of skills is back.
Welcome back to downtown Indianapolis, Indiana. 11:33 to play until halftime. Jared Allen and the Vikings trailing 7-6 to Reggie Wayne's Colts. Taken one way, pitch it to Wayne the other way. And he's wrapped up at the 20. There'll be a gain of close to 4. Antoine Winfield on the stop.
Well, they're moving Reggie Wayne around a little bit as well. You can see the short motion in here. There again, what you do with the receiver when you put him in motion, you keep him off of press coverage. You change up the combinations if they're in man. And now all of a sudden he can slip into a zone. Moving around your top receiver is always a good idea because you avoid the bracket coverage or the one-on-one matchups the defense is trying to create.
98th consecutive game with a catch by Reggie Wayne. And they try the running game once more. And Brown lunges forward. Third down upcoming.
Well, Andrew Luck had a tough week last week against Chicago with the 3 interceptions. And when you can see here, the type of interceptions were a real learning experience. He underthrew this into a 2-deep zone. Now in the goal line we talked about, there's a little bit of a late throw, but this is a great play by Jennings and Conte. And then this one was just up late, underestimated the drop of the corner. Andrew Luck came off the field. He knew exactly what he had done wrong, and he so far has stayed away from those types of turnovers.
The third down and 3, high snap, and batted down at the line of scrimmage by Jared Allen. So 3 this time for Luck and the Colts, and Minnesota is going to get it back.
This is a nice job by Allen. Obviously, if you don't feel like you can get home, he's in a bull rush there, can't get home, to time your jump, to get those long arms up. If you can't get home, next best thing is to knock down the ball.
Minnesota defense only first 1 3-and-out last week in 12 Jacksonville possessions. Marcus Sherrill driven back to his 20-yard line. Avoids one tackle. And now with a little bit of running room, he's shot down to the 35. That's a 15-yard return by the former walk-on at the University of Minnesota. Coach Billick, you talk frequently about swings in momentum after that 3-and-out stop by Minnesota. Now the Vikings get the ball right back. They've been moving right up and down the field against this Colts defense. And they hand it off to Adrian Peterson on first down, and that's a gain of 5.
Well, Fred Pugic, the former defensive coordinator last year, now the linebacker coach, talking to Chad Greenway. Well, he's got some chew going on in there. I don't know if Chad Greenway's hearing a word he's saying, because that breath can't be good. Right now, you're just trying to get away from that. But he's just coaching him up. Right now, I'm sorry, my breath's bad, but listen to me.
Second down and 4, they call it a gain of 6 for Adrian Peterson. 7 carries, 36 yards. And into the hands of Harvin. Well, I tell you, for a guy who's not all that big, he will take a hit, and he will put a hit on you. 184 pounds is Harvin.
You're right. That's the thing that stuns you a little bit, is how physical he's willing to be down here on the goal line when they were trying to get the first down. His ability to drop the shoulder and just take people on. That physicality, along with the obvious speed and quickness this guy has. You wake up with that, by the way. That's not coaching. It's much of like, I mean, you woke up with that talent.
Peterson tries to break it to the outside and turn the corner. His run out of bounds right at midfield. That'll be a gain of 5, and we send it cross country to Kurt Menefee for a game break in Los Angeles.
All right, guys, it's not the old days, but it resembles it. The defense picked off Eli Manning for the Bucs, and the offense made it pay. Josh Freeman and Vincent Jackson hook up on a 29-yard score, and they lead the Giants 10-6 on the road. Tom and Brian.
Of course, that's been traditionally from time to time a game where the Giants will stub their toe. When they're at home, they're a big favorite. Coming off the opening week loss at home against Dallas. Gerhardt, a first down inside the 45 to the 44. Boy, this Minnesota offense is just running right through this Indianapolis defense.
I want you to watch the action here of Harvin motioning. They've done this a half a dozen times. They fake him on the reverse. We used to call that a ghost reverse. Just the threat at some point as they begin to close down on these inside runs, they're going to give that ball to Percy Harvin.
And Jerome Felton, their starting fullback, who was so good last week. Leslie Frazier said he simply had an outstanding game. He's been a good player in this league for a long time.
And it's a rare breed. A lot of teams don't have that good fullback anymore. And you want to bring that hammer, and particularly when you got a back like Adrian Peterson. We talked about Donald Brown preferring to be single back. Adrian Peterson loves to have a blocking fullback in front of him.
Well, where the Colts have really gotten down to business is once Minnesota gets close to that 20-yard line and inside the 20. But otherwise, the yards, my, oh my. 72 rushing, 55 passing. Back to the ground again with Gerhardt for 2.
Well, at the heart of what the Minnesota Vikings want to do is to run downhill with Adrian Peterson. And once you start to collapse those edges to try to account for those inside runs, that's when he is so good at being able to bounce it outside, or like we said with a Percy Harvin, maybe flip him the ball or run a reverse. You're constantly trying to get the defense to shrink itself so you can get outside the edges.
Dwight Freeney standing over there on that sideline. How badly does he want to be in there? Maybe getting back to the line of scrimmage was Ponder, tripped up by Cavell Connor. Boy, Freeney 7 times a Pro Bowler. He has just been spectacular in that 4-3 defense along with Mathis's ends, and now both of them in a 3-4 playing as linebackers. 3rd and 8. Ponder coughs it up. Is that Corey Redding down at the bottom of the football waiting for an official ruling, and Redding saying I have the ball. And so too does the referee. Stripped out of there by the former Canadian Football League standout Jarrell Freeman, and then covered up by Corey Redding. So a big stop for the Colts, and now great field position already with a 1-point lead.
Today's game on Fox is sponsored by Chevrolet. From kickoff to the last yard, Chevy runs deep.
So the strip by Javale Freeman of Christian Ponder, and the turnover by Minnesota, which had been moving up and down the field. Now with 6:02 to play until halftime, and already leading 7-6. Andrew Luck and the Indianapolis offense back on. Vic Ballard checks into the backfield for the first time today. Flags down. Luck had it tipped, and it wound up being underthrown after it was tipped.
Look to be some movement on the interior of the Indianapolis line.
Offside. Defense number 90. 5-yard penalty. Replay first down.
Big Fred Evans.
Well, let's go back. We got to go back to this last play. First off, it looks like there's some confusion here with Freeman and Redding and the linebackers. And I don't know if that was the reason, but it obviously created confusion for the offensive line of the Minnesota Vikings. You're going to see Johnson right here, the right guard. You got to take one or the other. He does, and he kind of whiffs on Corey Redding inside, and Freeman comes scot-free in the middle.
So now the momentum swings back into Indianapolis' favor, and that one is too tall. Poor throw there by Luck. Setting up the screen to Vic Ballard, and never gave him a chance to get it.
Yeah, and he pointed himself. He knew it was him. Sometimes those have got to be the most accurate throws you make. You've got to give the back a chance to kind of catch it going downhill, catch and go. Made it way too difficult for the back.
Going to look at the quarterback numbers. Luck, the touchdown pass to Dwayne Allen on a 3rd and goal back in the opening quarter. Went 3 and out, his only possession here in the second quarter. And on 2nd and 5, they give it to Ballard. And he has a first down to the 33. They'll spot it at the 34. Vic Ballard might be best remembered during the NFL Combine when he tripped and then went head-on into a camera tripod when they were timing his 40-yard dash. He had a solid 2-year career at Mississippi State. And Bruce Arians, the offensive coordinator here in Indianapolis, twice has coached at Mississippi State, and that's where he got the inside on Vic Ballard. Avery on the end around. He stopped to the 27-yard line.
Well, Minnesota's been the one setting it up, but you're going to see the same thing, this ghost reverse, but now they hang it, they actually hand it off. And that's because the defense, once you hit the interior of the defense, the way both the Colts and Minnesota has been doing it, Gerald Annell on the backside. See how he collapses right here? Wasn't quite sure what was going on. Coaches up in the booth were seeing he was collapsing down on these runs. That allowed you to get that ghost reverse out the backside.
Gain of 7 by Avery, 2nd and 3. Under 5 to go until halftime. Inside to Avery this time. And he tries to cut it back to the inside and met Antoine Winfield. So far the numbers for Luck. Donald Brown, virtually no run game at all for Indianapolis so far. And Avery, all 3 of those catches came on that opening possession, which led to a touchdown.
And Bruce Arians, the new offensive coordinator, would love. He's all about getting that run established, going back to his Pittsburgh roots. He'll put him in the gun and throw it every time if you want. He did with Ben Roethlisberger, but he knows for his rookie quarterback, Andrew Luck, you don't want to be on a 45 pass pace like he was last week against Chicago.
Put it down, they're going to roll him out, and a crossing pattern, and again it is Avery. Avery, his first 2 years in the league in St. Louis, caught 100 passes. Then missed all of 2010 with a knee injury, only played in 8 games with Tennessee, and he appears to be a find.
Well, it's a great addition. Obviously, Reggie Wayne, the tight ends they picked up. Getting Andrew Luck outside the perimeter of the defense, and naturally with the rush of a guy like Robert Mack, got to change the drop point of the quarterback. He's very comfortable getting her out the edge and throwing what he sees. A young quarterback loves to throw what he sees rather than anticipate or a read progression.
Well, he got helped out big time by Avery there. And just no run game whatsoever. As that's Ballard, maybe back to the line of scrimmage, and there's an injured player. Slow to get up is Samson Satelli. Came over from Oakland during the offseason, replacing Jeff Saturday, who along with Peyton Manning set an NFL record for a quarterback center combination, 170 games by that duo. Staying in there. That's a tight end, Fleener. And he He's very close to a first down. And their center Satelli this time has to come off the field.
Yeah, you can just see right here when you have to gun snap like that and all of a sudden you're turning back and bodies are coming everywhere. Whatever happened on the last snap, obviously it's not feeling right. And this is the tough one. You bring in the backup center down in this situation.
Well, they just brought in big Trey Essex. Spent a number of years in Pittsburgh. He's a Fort Wayne native. We'll see where they play him. He can play anywhere on the line. Mike McGlynn moves from right guard to center. Trey Essex just signed this week, is now at right guard. And Lickenbach is already replacing the injured Winston Justice at right tackle. Third down and a yard. I don't think they got it. So a decision now, depending on the spot, as Henderson came up to make the stop. All right, what are you going to do now if you're Chuck Pagano? You have 1:54 left. Fourth down and a yard. You're ahead 7-6.
Well, we always talk about the scoring differential. So now you take this thing at 7-6. If you take the field goal, all right, a little conservative, but now you're talking about a 4-point differential. That means a touchdown. It takes a touchdown to beat you. I think you have to go for the field goal. Certainly you want the touchdown, but the way the game's moving right now, we're talking 7-6 here, closing in on the half. I'm not sure I don't take the touchdown differential in this situation. I kick the field goal. I know you're looking cross-eyed at me about it. You wouldn't want to do that, but I tell you what, when I don't
want to do it. Come on.
When I don't kick the field goal, and I end up losing by 2 or 3 points, I want you standing there with me on the sideline so I can point to who made that call.
No.
Yeah, and the fans, you know, the fans want to go for it. I understand that. Right up to the point that you don't get it. Now all of a sudden, now you lose 9-7. That ain't good.
All right, Vinatieri on for a 26-yard field goal attempt. He's hit his last 31, all 31, from inside of 40 yards here at Lucas Oil Stadium. And he snuck that one in the right upright. So the Colts do indeed tack on. Make it a 10-6 lead. Minute 49, 3 timeouts left for Minnesota when we come back. .10-6 ball game. Colts in front, 1:49 to play until halftime. And I beg your pardon, a moment ago was Minnesota charged with a timeout. So the Vikings have 3 to play with at the beginning of the half, and now they're down to 2. No Harvey this time. Sherrill's nearly put on the back of the end zone line and brings it out to the 15. The Visa halftime report coming up shortly. How about it, Kurt?
All right, coming up on the Visa halftime report, we'll put the guys back to work as we get ready for highlights from a busy week 2 in the NFL, including Michael Vick and the Eagles hosting Baltimore in a game that's featured a lot of scuffles. Plus, Ryan Tannehill gets his first NFL touchdown. You'll be surprised how it happens.
All right, Kurt Menefee, looking forward to hearing from you and the gang back in Los Angeles. Ponder had a very good day, although inside the red zone, they just can't get it done. Big chunks of yards for both Peterson and Harvin. This time they find Michael Jenkins on first down, and that'll be a gain of 4. Hurry up mode. Minute 33 to play until halftime.
And this is where we expect a Robert Mathis to show up in these situations.
Corey Redding got a paw on that one.
Corey Redding coming right down the middle of the pipe, pushing Sullivan back, just like we saw Jared Allen not long ago. You bull rush up the middle, you know you can't get home, time you jump and put that big paw up.
First pass incompletion by Ponder, so now 3rd and 6. Mr. Wide Open Percy Harvin. And now with 1:23 left and 2 timeouts, Andrew Luck should get decent field position.
And that's certainly a failed series by the Minnesota Vikings. When you're under 2 minutes, your priorities, you want to go down and score a touchdown. Secondly, you want to go down and kick a field goal if you can. And third, you do not want to kick the ball back to your opponent. You cannot give them an opportunity, which much better field position than you started off with. That was a terrible possession by the Minnesota Vikings.
Punted away. Very poor punt by Fluid. And it'll take a favorable bounce. 35-yard line. Well, of course, last weekend we had 5 rookie starting quarterbacks in the NFL. That's the most since a merger in the history of the league in week 1. Only one winner in the group, and that was Griffin, who did not throw an interception.
Yeah, and a very typical rookie numbers here when you look at the touchdowns to interception. Luck 3 interceptions, Tannehill 3, Whedon 4, and a nightmare of a day. Very typical of rookie outings.
Well, there had only been 2 rookies prior to last weekend ever that threw for over 300 yards in a debut. Peyton Manning in '98, Cam Newton last year. Safe pass to Fleener. And that's up to the 40, closing in on a minute. Colts have 2 timeouts.
Remember, you got your backup center shooting these gun snaps back here. Always a bit problematic.
Beautifully thrown ball right at midfield. Mwelde Moore the catch. And a timeout is called by Indianapolis. 45 seconds left. Let's check in with Laura.
Backup center staying in there for a little while longer. Samson Sattelli came into the game, Tom, wearing a brace on his right knee. The trainers are looking at his left knee. He has been brought into the locker room for evaluation. I'll let you know when the Colts give official word.
All right, Laura, thank you.
This is what I'm talking about. You know, you're a backup center. You don't get a lot of practice anyway, and you certainly don't get a lot of practice at the gun snaps. You got to start every play as as Andrew Luck does right now, worrying about where's that snap going to be. Adds another dimension to your checklist of what do I do now.
Tipped into the air. Just short of getting the interception was Josh Robinson. Broken up by Harrison Smith. The second of 2 first-round draft picks by Minnesota. Smith came out of Notre Dame.
Some people thought that Smith maybe was pulled up into the first round a little arbitrarily. But I tell you what, this guy's got great vision. He's got great instincts. You talk about changing things up for the young quarterback Luck. You got to be careful these 2 young safeties don't get crosswise as well.
Luck steps up, delivers to Wayne. That's at the 40. So right now that would make it a 57-yard field goal try. Indianapolis spends its final timeout. 57 yards is the career best for Vinatieri. And you got to wonder, getting a little longer in the tooth if he still has 57 in it. You have plenty enough time to get some more yardage.
Oh, absolutely. And they'll do just that. They'll run a play here. If they get the first down, you're likely to see them rush up and kill the ball. That gives them because right now the down is secondary to you. It's the timing. So if they get the first down here, they'll come up, spike it, give themselves a more orchestrated call. The problem is now that they are out of timeouts, so you've got to make sure you leave yourself with your play calling an opportunity to kill the ball or run out of bounds as we get closer to the point where you need to kick this field goal.
Well, they got to convert on the 3rd down. It is 3rd and a yard. Colts have cashed in 4 of 6 on 3rd down. They were only 2 of 10 last week against the Bears.
I think we're going to see a trap or a draw here.
Yep, you called it. That is good enough for a first down for Donald Brown. Now they'll hurry to the line of scrimmage and try to spike it. Blocked down at 20. All right, now, Coach Billick, do you run one more play? You have 20 seconds left. What was sort of your barometer about what you could do or couldn't do at this point with no timeouts left?
We're right at it, 19 seconds. At 19 seconds, you have the opportunity to get your panic field goal team on. That says if you drop the ball off, get a few yards, you can run your field goal team on there. He still has, on the down and distance, a chance to spike the ball. So they're in total control right now.
And stop the clock. Okay, he's at the 30. So now you'd be looking at a 47-yard try. Vinatieri in pregame kicks, and granted there's no rush and all the pressure, was hitting from 59 yards out.
And there's nobody rushing him here, so obviously this is a lot easier, but he's been at this a long time. This is where Andrew Luck's got to be a little careful here. Obviously you don't want to turn it over. You're in field goal position. Yeah, you can dump the ball off underneath and still have time, if you get a first down, to kill the ball.
What does he do? He finds Reggie Wayne for the touchdown. Colts have been generally money in the bank when Wayne catches a touchdown pass. They've won 51 out of 64 games. How about that going for the jugular?
Well, I think just what I talked about. Looks like Harrison Smith, the rookie free safety, got out of position a little bit, leaving the alley open for Andrew Luck to fire the ball into Reggie Wayne. This is about as simple as it gets. You're going to see right in here, Reggie Wayne's just going to shoot down the middle of the field. And now on the outside, they were looking for more help from one of the safeties. When you play your safeties that wide, you're counting on the linebacker, Aaron Henderson, to run and cover this down the pipe go route. So the safeties got betrayed there a little bit by the lack of drop by Aaron Henderson. And right now, that hurts a little bit, but not as much if it hadn't been for the touchdown. Look at that. He didn't even feel that hitting the ground. I got me a touchdown. Here you can see, stop right here. You can see the width of these safeties are what I'm talking about here. You need the middle linebacker to get to the middle of the field, and it just doesn't happen. Opening up the middle, you can see Aaron Henderson, number 50 there. The safeties on a Tampa 2 are really like wide safeties, almost like a 3 deep with the linebacker filling the middle. The safeties didn't get the help they were counting on.
And really, it goes all back to the 3 and out on offense by Minnesota. Getting the ball with a minute and a half left. And Ponder missing the wide open Harvin on 3rd down. They had 2 timeouts to use, trying to get into field goal position. They gave Luck and the Colts a chance and pay for it. DeAndre Reed bringing it back up to the 33-yard line. Only 2 seconds left in the opening half. Well, you talk about swings and momentum, and Coach Billick, you talk about them all the time. Minnesota was moving the ball. Big sack and a fumble by Ponder. It leads to the field goal by Indianapolis. Then the 3 and out with a minute and a half to go. Getting the ball back again to Indianapolis and right down the field for a touchdown.
And that's what Chuck Pagano, let's get the call here.
Illegal formation on the kicking team. That's a 5-yard penalty. Will be added to the end of the run. First down.
Well, you don't hear that too often. Typically what that means, it wasn't offsides. You have to have a certain balance on either side of the kicker, and they obviously did not have that. But the thing that Chuck Pagano, get back to what you're talking about, Tom, he's got to be excited about is it's one thing to recognize the potential of that swing of emotion, but for your team to take advantage of it. That young offensive team did just that. They came in, they answered the bell, not just Andrew Luck. We saw a completion to Fleener as well. They kept their composure, did a nice job, and for a young team to take advantage of that swing of emotion you're talking about is a huge, huge learning factor. Yeah, special teams coach not too happy here. Either he thinks the officials missed the call.
Mike Prefer, the special teams coach for Minnesota. Reggie Wayne, the touchdown reception in the closing seconds, putting Andrew Luck in front at halftime. And Chuck Pagano told us yesterday, said point blank, this is a game we've got to win. End of the first quarter. 17-6. We now go to Kurt Menefee in Los Angeles for the Visa halftime report, which begins right now. Gentlemen, take it away in Los Angeles. (17-6) on a pair of Andrew Luck touchdown passes. Follow your favorite team all season long. Go to iTunes.com/NFL, and Andrew Luck will have a chance to pick up where he left off. Coach Billick, they'll get the ball to begin the second half.
Well, you talked about the momentum swings. Right now, the challenge for Minnesota with Indianapolis getting the ball first. They desperately need a 3-and-out or a good series just to change that emotion. It is all on Indianapolis' side right now.
That one booted out of the end zone. And, you know, one of the things you talked about, Coach Billick, before the game ever began was the play of left tackle Matt Khalil. Now, granted, Jared Allen does have one batted ball today, but we haven't called his name again yet for a sack.
Well, you're talking about a franchise rookie quarterback, and that's what they're looking at. Excuse me, second-year quarterback in Christian Ponder. You bring in a first-round pick at the left side. What I've been seeing and that I like about Khalil, they haven't had to help him a lot. They haven't had to turn the line back there. They haven't put the back there. He's holding up pretty good. That's going to frustrate, obviously, for the defensive ends. It doesn't matter if they don't have Freeney, obviously, but Robert Mathis, if they want to bring him on the outside, if you can isolate your tackle one-on-one, then you don't have an issue.
And obviously I misspoke there. The guy I was trying to get at ultimately was the left tackle Anthony Costanzo, who was the #1 pick a year ago by these Colts and missed a lot of time last year, but he's held up well against Allen. I beg your pardon.
Same issue though we're talking about. You're talking about your franchise quarterback in Andrew Luck in the hands of Costanzo, who did not play a lot last year. So it's like he's a rookie. He's held up against Jared Allen. He has not had a lot of help.
On second down, they get the ball into the hands of T.Y. Hilton. He's out across the 35 and all the way up to the 40-yard line.
Well, we've seen these quick, wide screens coming out of the college game. More and more prevalent there, obviously, but we're seeing it more and more in the NFL, which is really kind of like an extended handoff. It's almost like a toss play. Get the ball in the hands of somebody outside the perimeter of the defense as quickly as I can and see what we can do down the field.
Hilton did not play in the season opener last week with an injured shoulder, so today is his NFL debut. And on the ground, they give it to Donald Brown. And he is wrapped up, but not before a gain of 8.
Well, we talk about that left side and holding up. I want you to watch what happens here. Allen comes right hard inside. They even have pressure. Nice job by Reggie Wayne right here. They had pressure from the outside. Fleener holds off Allen on the inside, somewhat figuratively, maybe literally. And Reggie Wayne, nice job picking up the blitzer that leads to the first down or a big gain on the outside.
Second down and 2. Opening possession of this second half for the Indianapolis Colts. Looking to add to a 17-6 lead. And no running room this time. Let's check in downstairs with Laura Oakman.
Tom, Leslie Frazier said Andrew Luck has done a great job scrambling, but says we have to stay in our rush lanes and most importantly, get them off the field on third down. As for Chuck Pagano, right now Mike McGlynn is under center. He said that he has all the faith in the world with him. He takes a lot of snaps during the week under center. No official word yet on Satali. I'll let you know when they give one.
Thank you very much, Laura Oakman. So here is that third down. Leslie Frazier told Laura about. Got to get that defense off the field.
Well, they're 6 of 8 right now, and 75% is going to win for you.
Blitz coming, and Luck looking around, just throws it up in the air right through the hands of Noeldi Moore, looking for a penalty flag. Looked like the defender got turned around, and that looked like a catch that should have been made. Now there is a penalty flag in the backfield. Crowd wanted the flag for defensive pass interference.
Holding. 74 of the offense. That penalty has declined. The result of the play brings up a fourth down.
Well, we said Costanza got away from it, or Fleener got away with it a minute ago. Right there, Jared Allen gets by him. Boy, I don't see the hold. It's that last little push as he went by. Costanzo on Jared Allen.
Of course, that's a point of emphasis this year is offensive linemen getting up under the face mask or up in the face and chin area of a defensive lineman. Now McAfee the punt, and he's hit, and a flag comes down. So Sherrills will bring it back across the 30-yard line, but it looks like this drive for Indianapolis will continue. That's Everson Griffin back there. Andrew Sendejo is also charging the punter.
Personal foul, roughing the kicker, number 34 of the defense. 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
And that is Sendejo.
Well, this was a jailbreak on the inside. When you come that clean, you've got to put your hands on the ball. You got two guys coming in here, and it just enough good. Not a bad acting job there by the punter, but you come that clean, that's the tough one, because you want to get your hands on the ball, you want to block the punt, but you had better touch it, or otherwise you're for sure going to run into that punter.
They'll spot it at the Minnesota 40-yard line. And Luck puts a helmet right back on into the huddle.
Talk about an emotional swing right there. Minnesota got it back a little bit. Forced him on the 3 and out. Now all of a sudden, Indianapolis has an opportunity to pick it back up.
Blown dead before it ever got started.
False start. Offense number 66. It's a 5-yard penalty. Remains first down.
That's Trey Essex. We talked this week. A lot of times during the week, you know, you follow the NFL and there'll be a sign made. You know, they bring in a guy who just got turned loose by somebody else and you think, not a big deal. Well, this is one of them. Obviously, it's a big deal. Trey Essex with Bruce Arians, the offensive coordinator at Pittsburgh for many, many years. Was just signed this week. He grew up down the road in Fort Wayne, Indiana, went to Harding High School there. And now he might end up playing this entire second half after the injury to the center, Samson Satelli. Avery. And you can't play it any better than Antoine Winfield.
Yeah, we talked about the fact that McGlynn's in at center. We've talked about the gun snapping, something you don't practice. Watch this snap here. This ball's got to get out of your hand quick. It's to the left. Andrew Luck has to make the play fake, but it slows him down, and that gave the Minnesota defense a chance to react to the little bit late throw. These are the subtleties when you have a new center. Just talked about Trey Essex. At least he knows the verbiage in Bruce Arians' offense. That gives you a bit of a chance of a new guy coming in. He now has to play virtually a little more than a half.
Need to get all the way down to the 30 to get a first down. Another low snap, and oh goodness, was Luck fortunate there. That did not go the other way, either with Winfield or Chris Cook.
Yeah, he had to field this one almost off the turf here. Watch how low this thing goes. It's all about timing. That's tough when a quarterback, Andrew Luck, he can't even look at the secondary now. That's why I don't want to make excuses, but he's thrown into coverage. He had to look at the ball, and all of a sudden you got that's a pick six right there. You've got to, if you can't get a more consistent snap, you got to start thinking about maybe going under center, even on third down.
Well, 3rd and 16 here. Trying to take advantage of the roughing the punter call a moment ago. And now being chased by Jared Allen is Luck. And he will be tackled. Is that a flag? Oh, no. Jared Allen's going to complain, but I don't think there's a whole lot of debate about it. Just a silly mental mistake there by Allen.
Yeah, you got to know where you are in the field as well. Jared Allen obviously wanting to get to him. That's a long way to go for the first down. It's not going to happen. You've got the angle. He's going to get out of bounds. Now, you're going to give him a little push. I don't know why you even try at that point.
Late hit out of bounds. Number 69 in the defense.
Go out of bounds.
15-yard penalty. Automatic first down.
That is a second 15-yard penalty resulting in an automatic first down when the Minnesota defense had made a stop on a 3rd down play.
You talk about momentum. To have a team off the field twice for them to be able to continue the drive, that's a killer.
Well, 1st and 10 at the 30-yard line against Donald Brown. And maybe back to the line of scrimmage. He's got a loose ball. This is saying no.
Boy, that
was the knee down.
Yeah, if they blew it dead, looks like the ball is going to come out. The right knee looks like it is down. Boy, that's a tough one right there.
And the elbow came down before the ball was jarred loose. Jared Allen still fuming over on that sideline. A hand off to Brown. His best run of the afternoon. He has a first down to the Minnesota 15-yard line. 15 yards on the carry by Brown.
Watch this pressure come off this left side here. All of a sudden they shoot the gap. He's able to start in and then bounce outside. Got a leading convoy with Costanza out front. That's what Donald Brown is about. Setting inside, jumping to the outside.
Jared Allen back into the ball game. 12 carries, 39 yards for Brown. And it's first down at the Minnesota 15. Brown, the #1 pick out of UConn, and you can't call him a bust because he's been sharing so much playing time the last couple of years with the aging Joseph Adai. But Chuck Pagano said he #1 priority, establish a power running game.
And he is that, even though he's kind of a jump cut guy, a single back guy. He does have good power about him. You know, he's built compact to the ground, just what you want at 5'10", 210. Pretty good out of the backfield as well, even though he had a few drops last week against Chicago.
2nd down and 8, another low snap. Thrown behind the intended receiver Fleener. There is a penalty flag in the backfield.
Holding. Offense number 73. It's a 10-yard penalty. Replay 2nd down.
That's Seth Olson, who is filling in for the regular starter. They're hoping to have back next week Joe Wright.
Well, they kind of keep shooting themselves in the foot here with penalties, but Minnesota kind of tends to just give it back to them in terms of getting them off the field and letting them stay right back on the field. I want you to notice how quiet it is in here, Tom. This is incredible. Peyton Manning trained these folks well. The idea, of course, different style of offense now, but even though they're not calling things at the line, this audience, this fan base is so used to not making any noise when Indianapolis has the ball. It's like a church in here.
To the outside, and he is chopped down by Harrison Smith. So now a third down. They stopped him on third down to begin this drive. And then a roughing the punter extended the drive. They stopped him again on third down. But a roughing the passer call. Late hit out of bounds. One against Jared Allen on the quarterback Andrew Luck. 15 more and an automatic first down. Can they stop him on third once more?
And Andrew Luck again, you can take your shots, but even settling for a field goal here gives you a 2-touchdown differential. You don't want to lose that.
And this time it's Luck who is wrapped up and thrown to the deck by Aaron Henderson.
Right here, Henderson pulls the trigger from the inside. The back's supposed to pick up, can't get pushed enough into the middle. Push it back, still a makeable field goal, of course, but backed him up just a little bit.
This will be a 45-yard field goal try for Vinatieri. He missed his only attempt last week. Good snap, good hold, and it is good. 17-6 becomes 20-6. 7:06 left in the third quarter.
Today's game on Fox is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com. By the all-new Dodge Dart. Dodge. New rules. And by the Samsung Galaxy S3. The next big thing is here.
Back to the NFL on Fox. 20-6. 2 huge penalties on that drive.
Yeah, obviously the blocked punt on what we're going after the punt that should have been Minnesota's ball, and then Jared Allen, poor judgment in knocking him late out of bounds. Both of them gave new life, new opportunities for Indianapolis to move down the field. Only came away with 3, but that put it to a 2-touchdown differential. That's huge.
Alrighty, it'll be Harbin again waiting on the kick, and he will not return this one. Minnesota gets the ball for the first time in the second half, trailing by 14. Well, the new AP rankings are out. College football returns to Fox. Aaron Andrews, the great Eddie George, and Joey Harrington get you ready for kickoff. Then 2 unbeatens. Number 15 K-State will be in Norman to take on 6th ranked Oklahoma. Saturday 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 Pacific. On Fox, of course, they had the big win yesterday. 4 straight years. Stanford, Oliver Luck's alma mater, pounding away at USC and Lane Kiffin going down.
I saw Kobe Fleener in the lobby coming over to the game. He said he had to calm himself down. He was so fired up. That was a huge win last night. David Shaw played for me at Stanford, coached for me in Baltimore. He's going to be up at this level as a head coach real quick.
There's Jim Harbaugh. He's done all right so far in the NFL.
Been pretty good.
Reaching the NFC Championship game last year. Second down, Ponder. First catch today by Kyle Rudolph, the big tight end who grew up just down the road in Cincinnati and played collegiately at Notre Dame. They figure him to be a big part of this offense for many years to come.
Well, used his size. This is actually pretty good coverage here by Connor. He's right there just by the length of the ball. Rudolph has great hands, great size, becoming a real favorite of Christian Ponder. You know, we're past the stage in the game where Ponder can manage the game. This is where now, as a starting quarterback, you're going to have to make something happen here to get your team back into the game.
Peterson, his longest carry of the day today has been 6 yards. Let's check in back in L.A. with our friend Patrick O'Neill.
All right, thanks very much. Let's go to Carolina. Saints in trouble. D'Angelo Williams up the gut for the touchdown. Last week, Carolina rushed for a franchise-tying low 10 yards, but Williams already 8 carries and 58. 28-13. Tom, Brian.
All right, Patrick, thank you very much. Well, there are a lot of upsets going on around the NFL right now. And we'll keep you up to date. Peterson, no running room. That'll bring up 3rd down and 7. When you take a look at some of the numbers, they don't look too bad. Ponder hit on 9 of 11 without an interception. Peterson not bad numbers, but no breakout run. Harvin was a big factor early. We haven't called his name in over a quarter.
Yeah, they haven't created those big explosives down the field, and clearly, you want to convert here on third down, but they've got to start taking some shots on first and second down.
Blitz coming, 3rd and 7. They get it away, and Rudolph dropped it. Not sure he would have had enough for a first down. With him step for step was Freeman.
Well, they put Rudolph on the outside, matched him up with Connor again. This is the matchup you want. You got to show those good hands here. Not only he knew I got to catch the ball, drop my shoulder, and get the first, because I can't. If I get tackled here, we're going to have to punt. He had his mind on getting that first and took his eyes off the ball. Cardinal sin for a receiver.
So again, they will punt it away. T.Y. Hilton stands back at his own 10. Low line drive punt. Boy, Kluwe again the beneficiary of a nice bounce. Kluwe has not punted well today. That one down by Jamarcus Sanford. And Sanford sprinting down the field, putting Indy in a tough spot.
Well, we're going to find out what kind of faith Bruce Arians has in his rookie quarterback, backed up in the shadow of his old goal line. I keep going back to my Bobby Duncan line. Don't get nervous. Someone's about to score. Somebody's got to be aggressive here.
It's a great line. Right at the goal line. Of course, the Saints are calling for a safety. That's not going to happen. Greenway and Brinkley stepping up there along with Allen.
And this is all about mano on mano, body on body. Look at the surge this defensive line of the Minnesota Vikings have. Just pushing right down the middle. You could see there Kevin Williams, as he always does, just blowing up the middle of the line. When I talk about being aggressive, that means the defense too. They've got to make something happen here, down by 2 scores.
He avoids a sack to the end zone and then throws incomplete with an eye on Fleener. Robinson just missed getting a pair back for Minnesota.
Watch the athleticism of Andrew Luck here. Just is able to step. That should have been a sack right there. And suddenly, it's not only had to scramble around, he immediately gathers himself, steps away from the sack by Robinson, and now gathers himself to make a throw down the field. That is a good athlete.
All right, so now 3rd down and 11. And they're going to run it. And it's a pickup of 3 and a 3 and out. And Minnesota figures to get excellent field position, down 20-6 with 3:45 to play here in the 3rd quarter.
There are key times in a game as a coach that you know you now have to seize the momentum, and this is one of them. Obviously fairly obvious, but you've had a great defensive stand. Now if you can get any kind of punt return by your special teams, you got your offense set up for a score.
Well, Star NFL to download NFL Mobile right now. Get coverage of every NFL game. McAfee from his own end zone puts a foot on it. Well, what a beautiful punt. Chasing Shells all the way back to his 30. Not a big block. There's a flag down. And will it be another Minnesota penalty to take him out of a pretty good situation? 64-yard punt by Pat McAfee, and what a time to get it.
Well, you talk about a switch of momentum. Minnesota poised to totally take control of the momentum and be in scoring position.
During the return, 99 of the return team block in the back. It's a 10-yard penalty, first down.
Holy Moses. They're going the wrong way on both ends of the field. (20-6) in front of Indianapolis. And now Christian Ponder, after the penalty on the punt return, begins his drive from his own 31-yard line. Coming out throwing on first down. Looking around, rolling, he'll chuck it away and step out of bounds at the 35.
You talk about a change of momentum. You're going to see here a 75-yard punt in the air with a 5-second hang time. That in itself changes the potential setup by the Minnesota Vikings. Then that shot right there, a block from behind, backs it up, another 10.
Late flag came in on that first down run by Ponder.
After the play was over, personal foul, unnecessary roughness, number 75 of the offense. It's a 15-yard penalty. It'll be second down.
That's Matt Khalil, the rookie out of USC.
Some of the frustration of what we're seeing may begin to settle in here. 68 coming in here, and boom, that late hit right there. Not needed. You know, we saw Jared Allen tackling the quarterback late out of bounds. Quarterback is out of bounds with a late hit like that. Frustration of Minnesota Vikings showing up right now.
Still on his feet and all the way up to the 40-yard line is Percy Harvin. First time they put it in his hands in quite some time.
Well, watch him. He's just on the outside here. That quick screen again. He looks like he's shot out of a cannon here. Watch the acceleration. And then stop, let it all go by. Now get started again. Nice job here, Khalil, making up for the unnecessary roughness, getting down the field, trying to get a hat on a hat.
It's a huge play for Minnesota. We got an entire quarter left, but if they go out here and they go to Harvin, that's the man you got to find. If they put a big hit on him, but it's a first down, and we check in once more with Patrick O'Neill.
In New England, Tom, where the Pats have won 23 of the last 24 regular season home games, a block Arizona's Quentin Groves blocking Zoltan Mesko. That would lead to a 2-yard touchdown pass from Cobb to Roberts. And, well, right now it's 13-9 Arizona over the Patriots. Tom and Brian.
While Patriots losing at home, the Giants are losing at home. Carolina up big on New Orleans. There are upsets in the making all over.
And if Minnesota can continue to open up with good first down runs like we've seen here, that's going to set up that proverbial play action pass, that shot down the field. The problem with Minnesota with Percy Harvin, now Percy Harvin's not in right now. Hopefully that last play took a bit of a shot. What Minnesota needs right now, this guy would cure it. They need him back in the game. He's the one guy that gives some real explosion on the outside.
Well, that was a big knock on this Minnesota philosophy, if you will, last year in regard to Harvin. Ponder again rolling, flags come down. And it might be another Minnesota penalty to take away another good play. Twice by their defense on the last drive. There's been already one on this drive.
Holding. Offense, number 71. It's a 10-yard penalty. Replay, second down.
Yeah, right tackle. Phil Loho right here on that edge. Obviously with the speed they can bring on the outside. Boy, he gets pushed back inside, and as he's going away, he reached out a little bit, but that was a bit pedestrian for my money. You know, the criticism of the officials has been they haven't been calling offensive holding. There's been a lot of criticism there. They may be leaning back the other way. We've seen a couple non-holds called today.
Second down and a ton after they converted. And down goes Ponder. Hughes was there to wrap him up.
Ponder's got good speed, but when he gets outside around the edge here right now, he's got to know. You've got to know that clock is ticking. These guys are big and fast. He's got to know he's getting closed in on. I understand not sliding there, but you better be able to protect yourself. He does.
They need to get all the way to the 45 of the Colts for a first down. Screen to Gerhardt. And he is thrown to the deck at the 41, and out comes the punt team. They had a first down inside of Indianapolis territory, but a holding call takes that away. And that's the final play of the third quarter. A third quarter marred by mistakes and penalties by Minnesota. The Vikings begin the final stanza down by 14. Well, the passing offense has been Percy Harvin or bust.
And we talked in the open that Christian Ponder is a manager of the game. He uses Adrian Peterson. The big plays come with Harvin. They may have to come someplace else as well, because right now they just don't have any juice about them offensively.
Well, Cluey has not had a good day punting the football today. Good return, brought back out to the 30-yard line. Only a 39-yard punt, an 11-yard return. As always, we'd like to welcome the men and women in uniform serving around the world, watching our broadcast in 175 countries and aboard ships at sea on AFN, the American Forces Network. We cannot thank you for all those that have served, are serving, and will serve. God bless you all. Defending the greatest country in the world. Reggie Wayne on the quick hit from Andrew Luck, and that'll pick up a couple of yards on first down. Fourth quarter underway in Indianapolis with a 20-6 lead. Penalties have been a huge part of this second half. Not only 5 penalties for 65 yards, but when they have come.
Absolutely. It kept the scoring drive alive for Indianapolis. 9 penalties in a game and still counting on the road. That's one of those statistics you look at after the game. It's awful hard to win with those kind of number of penalties. Indianapolis is in that gray area right now. Bruce Arians are up by 2 scores. You played very well. You obviously want to continue to move the ball. They'd love to be able to pound the ball away here a little bit. And right now, obviously, with this young offense, they're still developing. The right side of the offensive line is still a little bit in flux due to the injury to Satelli, the center. So I know that's what they want to do, but I'm not sure they're going to be able to push it around the way they'd like to, even at 13 minutes and change in the fourth quarter.
Important third down for this Minnesota defense, and it's incomplete, so it'll be 3 and out for Luck. And the Colts, Robinson putting the big hit on Luck as he started to throw. May have altered, it looked like, his intended target. That's Robinson hitting the arm.
Yeah, just as he throws, you can see it come out cockeyed like that. That normally has interception written all over it when it pops up like that. Nothing you can do as a quarterback when your arm's hit from behind.
So McAfee, their punter, had one of the biggest plays in this game. Well, that 65-yard punt a little while ago. And this one is picked up by Sherrill and brings it across the 20 to the 21-yard line.
Now, he's not into the sun. We thought the sun in and out of the shadows might be a problem, but that's not for him. Next week, boy, this is something the San Francisco 49ers look like as complete a team as there is in the National Football League. This is a team you got to enjoy watching. The adding of Mario Manningham and Randy Moss. These Minnesota Vikings have quite a task taking on the San Francisco 49ers. Some good matchups next week. We got Philadelphia and Arizona. Right now, Arizona's taking it to New England. That could be real interesting.
You're not kidding if the Cardinals were to start out 2-0. Looking for the home run ball to Harvin. And he was bumped. Boy, is this going to go against Harvin?
Yeah, this could go against the, this could be an offensive pass interference. Looks like the last minute he put his hands on him. We'll see. Talk about change of momentum right here. You can see it. Harvin right down the middle. Starts to work back in. Yeah, that's offensive pass interference.
Interference on the offense. Number 12. 10-yard penalty. Replay first down.
Well, they got Percy Harvin.
Yeah, there's no question. They're nice turning back to the ball. The defensive player has as much right to the ball as the offensive player. He was trying to work his way across it. To me, that's a good call. That's a good call. Or no call. Maybe a no call, but you certainly can't call that defensive pass interference.
So after that penalty, this drive now begins from their own 11. 6th penalty in the second half. Harvin back to work. And he's tackled at the 28-yard line. Good pickup to get that yardage back. That's a gain of 18.
Just as simple as a screwdriver, just a quick slant inside. Tough for the quarterback after a play fake to now come out of it. Nice delivery by Ponder. Minnesota, if not in a no huddle, and they're not, they need to pick up their tempo a little bit. They've got 2 scores. They've got to conserve as much clock as they can. They've got to pick up their tempo in and out of the huddle.
Second down and 3, and Ponder looking around, and throws it, and it's in and out of the hands of Cavell Connor. That should have been intercepted. And let's throw one across the country back to Kurt Menefee.
Well, Reggie Bush looking awfully good today for Miami. Back-to-back possessions, he scored touchdowns, including this big one. Around and through the Raider defense, 65 yards. He's got 129 yards and 2 touchdowns and a quarter to go. Dolphins up 21-10, looking for that first win. Tom and Brian.
Thank you, Kurt. That would be Miami 1-1 if it can hang on. Raiders will go to 0-2. Batted away. Good coverage by Gerard Powers. And so again, Minnesota cannot overcome a penalty on the drive.
It's just a good defensive play by Powers. He's on his hip, comes across it, doesn't touch Aroma should do at all, gets his hand on the ball. Excellent execution by the corner. Floyd needs to make up for his punts earlier in the game. He needs to boom one here.
Minnesota just 4 of 11 on 3rd downs today. Better punt this time. Looking into the sunshine with the roof open today is Hilton. Fair catch of the 18. 54-yard punt. That Indy defense has stood tall today.
Today's game on Fox is sponsored by Sprint, by Pizza Hut, make it great, and by Bud Light, the official beer of NFL fans. Here we go.
You look at Minnesota offensively, the last 5 possessions virtually non-existent.
And it's at this point you can see you don't have the consistency. You got to start taking those shots down the field. We saw the last series they started to do a little bit more, but they've got to find something down the field because right now they're just slowly bleeding to death.
There's still a long way to go in this one. I mean, by no means is this one in the bank for Indianapolis. And that appears to be early movement by Fleener, the tight end, over on the left side.
False start. Offense, number 83. 5-yard penalty. Remains first down.
Well, they got the other rookie tight end standing right next to him, Dwayne Allen.
You know, working a lead is as much a learning curve as coming from behind for a young team. And that's exactly where they are right now. The struggles they had last year. They got a young team here. Not fall into these types of dumb penalties. Put yourself behind the count right from the get-go. Got to show some discipline in holding a lead.
Well, the Vikings are one huge defensive play away as Henderson meets Vic Ballard head on right at the 10-yard line and drives him into the turf. But one huge defensive play away from being back in this thing with a little momentum.
And that's why I think you're going to see more and more aggressive calls by Leslie Frazier in bringing pressure, because you're at the point where you're right. It's not just the offense. You got to make something happen. You got to put your offense on a short field, get a pick six. Sitting in a passive zone isn't going to do you any good, because right now the clock is your enemy as well.
We're going to hand it off once more to Ballard. And a little more running room. There is a flag down, and Jared Allen is already pointing on the Indianapolis side, and that's the way this penalty's going. It's going to back him up even more.
I think Trey Essex got another hold here on Jared Allen.
Holding. Offense number 66. Half the distance to the goal line. We play second down.
Todd King, our referee.
White here on the right side. He pulls out a little counter play. Supposed to kick out on Allen, and as Allen tries to swim underneath, he grabs a hold of the shoulder pads right out in front of everybody. Can't miss that one.
And now second down and 23 inside their own 5, or right at the 5, and there's a carry for close to 4. It brings up third down and forever. And is this where Minnesota can come up with a big defensive play?
Well, likely Indianapolis is going to play it safe, run a draw play, maybe just drop it off. I imagine Minnesota will be fairly passive in their secondary, but they've got to make something happen here. They should get field position. We thought that last time, and then McAfee boomed a 75-yarder in the air.
Weldie Moore checks into the backfield, standing right next to Luck. And they're just going to hand it off to him, and he is dropped for a 3-yard loss. So McAfee once more will punt out of his own end zone. Crowd doesn't like it. And this is going to burn another 45 seconds off the game clock.
Yeah, on a 3rd and 15, 3rd and 16, there's not a lot on your chart to go to at that point. You don't want to put your quarterback in a position to force the ball in. What did we just say? Minnesota has to get a turnover to change the tide of what's going on. You didn't turn the ball over. Unambitious, certainly, but probably pretty smart.
Sherrill's standing at his own 40. On a hang time there, but from his 37 makes one tackler miss and brings it across the 45. Very good field position and a lot of time left. 10-10 to play. Well, you look at the total numbers on Adrian Peterson today. 12 carries and 53 yards. Doesn't tell really the entire story, though. His longest run of the afternoon is all of 6 yards. Drive beginning with over 10 minutes to play. Down a couple of touchdowns, and Ponder fires. Rudolph hangs on this time, and that's a first down. A gain of 14. Let's send it back to Los Angeles.
Arizona trying to pull the upset at New England. Kevin Cobb, 5-yard score. They're up 20-9 in the 4th quarter. Tom and Brian, Patriots are perfect 10-0 in home openers at Gillette. Obviously, that's in jeopardy right now.
That would be without a doubt the biggest shocker of the day. If Arizona were to go and win in New England.
If they're going to get back into it, you got to know that Percy Harvin's going to be a big part of it.
Throwing it up and out of bounds. Had an eye on Rudolph.
Impressive job by the Indianapolis Colts defense. Keep in mind that without Dwight Freeney, they've not really given up anything down the field. They've put good pressure on Ponder and really haven't been able to crank up the running game. What'd they tell us? Job number 1, don't get Adrian Peterson cranked up. They never were able so far today.
Freeney injured his ankle last week in Chicago. They thought they might have him back this week. You've got to believe they'll have him back next week. Peterson to the 35-yard line. It brings up 3rd down and a long 5. Clock winding down. 9-12 left to go, and Harvin gingerly walking around, reaching back in that hamstring area, trying to stretch it out.
Yeah, hopefully that's just a cramp and not a hamstring.
Well, you're in 4-down territory now in Minnesota, are you not?
Absolutely, absolutely. Closing in on 8 minutes, and that should dictate the call as well. He doesn't need the full first down here. You're going to have 2 shots to get it.
Blitz coming. Ponder looks for Harvin, and he makes a reception, tiptoes out of bounds. A first down to stop the clock at the 22-yard line.
And Indy brought the pressure to force the issue. That's what created the one-on-one. You can see the pressure coming right now. That's what created the one-on-one matchup for King on the outside. If there's one guy I'm going to make sure I double on every single play, it's going to be Percy Harvin going forward.
Of course, they start that clock back up once they spot the ball. So down to 8:20. They're burning a lot of time here, huddling up. Crossing pattern again. It's Harvin. And the clock will continue to run. It's down to the 15-yard line. Well, I'm really surprised that Minnesota is not getting up on the line of scrimmage a little quicker here, Coach. Down 2 touchdowns.
Well, this is what they do. They're not a no-huddle team, but at the very least, as I said earlier, they got to increase their tempo a little bit. Okay, if you're going to huddle, you can get a score here. Hope your defense can hold up, and they played decently the last few drives. You're still a 1 score away from bringing this thing even, but they do need to pick up their tempo.
Peterson took a shot from Antoine Bethea at the end of that carry. Very close to a first down. We'll see where they spot it. He needed to get just inside the 14-yard line, and it appears to be enough. It is a first down. And again, Minnesota huddles up.
Yeah, and Ponder stepping back, looking for the signal. That thing needs to be in right now. It doesn't take much to increase your tempo, but it's got to be from the play caller to the quarterback. He's got to increase the tempo of the huddle to the line of scrimmage.
And they hand the ball off. 7 minutes left to go, and again they walk back to the huddle. Harvin, 112 yards of offense today for Minnesota. Well, I know it's belaboring the point.
Yeah.
I mean, Minnesota's in no hurry to get into a huddle.
Yeah, there's got to be a sense of urgency here, down by 2. Percy Harvin's the X factor. We need a Y and Z factor to show up here.
Floating out to Harvin, and he's run out of bounds at the 2-yard line. Oh, they spotted it to 6, I beg your pardon. Stepped out of bounds a little sooner than we thought. Official all over it on the far sideline.
Yeah, and just because the ball's out of bounds, the clock gets cranked back up until we get inside at 2 minutes. So that urgency we talked about has to be maintained even when the ball's out of bounds.
It's a 3rd down play. And Peterson is bottled up. Maybe back to the line of scrimmage. So now it's 4th down. I mean, field goal's not doing you any good, so they're going to go for it.
And that's why the run. You recognize, okay, we're going to go 4 downs. So maybe I run it. If I don't get the first now, maybe 4th and inches, 4th and a yard. So that was an example of the fact that they knew it was going to be 4 down, but it's all riding on it right here. The tempo that they've maintained right now.
So Minnesota's going to talk it over. Harvin continues to try and stretch out that calf. It's a huge play. Biggest play of the game for Minnesota when we come back.
Today's game on Fox is sponsored by the new 2013 Ford F-150 with EcoBoost.
Well, it's not an absolute certainty, but if they're unable to get the first down here, Minnesota's in a world of hurt.
That's a tough hill to climb, and you got to convert on a 3rd and medium here without your best player on the field, Percy Harvin.
Well, he looks like he wants to come back in, but he won't. Need to get to the 3 for a first down. Batted into the air. Jump ball, and did Rudolph get it? No, it is caught on the other side by Stephen Burton for the touchdown. Can you believe that? It was tipped originally, it appeared, by Corey Redding at the line of scrimmage. The 6'6" Rudolph went high into the air, but it lands in the arms of Burton.
Yeah, this thing is with rivals beach volleyball here. We get 1 tip. Rudolph goes up. He gets another tip. Kerry Walsh, Christy May. We got a touchdown. I don't think you get 7 in beach volleyball, but you do in the NFL.
What a great play of concentration by Burton after it came through the fingertips of Rudolph. Look at that, right in his hands. Still a ball game in Indianapolis. Well, you know, they say about the best laid plans, whether it's Greg Minuski on defense, Bill Musgrave on offense, you didn't envision a tipped ball in the back of the end zone, the first career touchdown reception for Stephen Burton, who caught 2 passes all of last year in limited playing time.
You know, you can practice the Rudolph bouncing it back. It's getting the defensive lineman to play along and bounce it up for you. That's the hard part.
Well, we just saw last week. I mean, the strange can happen. 20 seconds left in the game. Jacksonville scored to take a 3-point lead. Couple of plays spanning 32 yards and a 55-yarder to tie it by Blair Walsh. Minnesota got the ball in overtime. Got a field goal from Walsh, necessitating a defensive stop. Jacksonville got the ball, and that Minnesota did. So a 7-point game now. 5:07 left. Each team with a full complement of timeouts and on the ground, and that has not been there all day long for Indianapolis. A non-existent run game.
Yeah, in Minnesota, you can see right here, they're going to put as many people into this proverbial box as they can find. They got Harrison right up here on the line. They're going to dare Indianapolis to throw the ball, take the chance of stopping the clock on an incomplete pass. This is classic 4-minute offense. Your job right now, and you practice it every week. Get me 1 first down.
Colts are going to spend a timeout.
Timeout.
They're first.
Indianapolis. That's their first timeout of the half.
Take a peek ahead of next week, the NFL on Fox. Some will see the Rams, Bears, Niners, Vikings. Others the Lions, Titans, and Buccaneers in Dallas. And then late, Brian, you and I will see the Eagles and the Cardinals. Will that be a matchup of 2-0 teams? Philadelphia tied with Baltimore. 17 apiece in the fourth quarter right now. And Arizona stunning New England. 20-9 with less than 7 minutes left to go in that one. Here, 4:32 left. And Indianapolis with a 7-point lead. Second down. Luck being chased. Got it away. In time to Reggie Wayne, and he's up to the 25-yard line. I mean, he had Allen breathing down his neck. So 3rd down upcoming, and there's an injured player down on the field. Slow to get up is Aaron Henderson.
You can see that's twice now. Jared Allen just almost getting to the quarterback. Athleticism of Luck pulling away from it. He's very much aware of it. Get the ball out of your hands. This creates an interesting 3rd down call for Bruce Arians. He's talking to Andrew Luck right now. Boy,
all right, let's go back to your playing calling days. I don't mean to interrupt you, but think about this, Coach Billick. What would you call right now? Quickly to Los Angeles.
All right, thanks a lot. The New Orleans Saints has been this kind of day, maybe this kind of year. Drew Brees on 4th and 4, just loses the football, and after that, the play is pretty much over. They turn it over on downs, and right now they trail Carolina 35-20. Less than 4 minutes left in regulation. Tom and Brian.
All right, Coach Billick, what are you doing here on 3rd down and 5?
I think we saw it earlier. I think you get him outside the pocket. I don't know if you want Andrew Luck throwing from the pocket here. Maybe a play fake, get to the outside, let him see clearly what he wants to throw. If not, maybe turn the edge and run, buy a little more clock down.
Wayne in motion, being stalked by Winfield. Here comes a step and a throw. And a catch up for a first down to the 31-yard line. Donnie Avery has come up big today. That's his 7th catch of the afternoon.
Boy, this is a bullet in the tightest of holes right here. Andrew Luck knows where he wants to go. Zings that thing in here. He had no idea where Avery was. He knew where he had to put the ball. Beautiful throw by Luck. Nice job by Avery going to the ball.
That's great coverage by Cook. I mean, he's right there. So now under 3:30 to go. Minnesota has 3 timeouts remaining. Back to the ground, and once more, just nowhere to go. Does Minnesota call a timeout now quickly and stop the clock? Yes.
Yeah, you know they're stacking this box now when Antoine Winfield blows through the gap. You can see on this backside, Winfield right here on the backside. You got everybody up in there, all 5'9" of them, slicing through it to bring the ball down. It's got to be total sellout by the Minnesota Vikings right now.
Of course, Winfield missed the entire week of practice. Tragic news of his younger brother being murdered back in his hometown of Akron, Ohio. He found that out 4 days before their season opener last Sunday. Winfield, his goal coming out of Ohio State was to play in the NFL at least 10 years. It was his 10th year. He went to his first Pro Bowl. What a player he has been.
And at 5'9", 180 pounds, I don't know that there's a more physical corner in the game than Winfield.
Winfield sniffed that out. A quick throw and a catch made by Avery once more.
Watch the transition of Winfield at the top right. He sees right now. He's been at this so long, he knew exactly what was coming, closing on it. I mean, right at the point of contact. This is just a tremendous player. Leslie Frazier talked about the whole temperament he sets with that defense in the back end. Consummate professional.
Yeah, almost 1,100 tackles in his career. Originally came out a #1 draft pick out of Ohio State with Buffalo, and then signed as a free agent in 2004. Has been in Minnesota ever since. So here we go again after a timeout. Another 3rd and 5.
Same thing. We saw it get it out of his hands quickly on the last play. You don't want him pitter-pattering in the pocket to make a read right now. Get him around the edge or get it out of your hands quick.
Barring a total collapse, this is the biggest defensive play of the game, and Luck is under pressure. Oh, he takes a huge loss all the way back to the 15 in the arms of Everson Griffin. And Minnesota will spend its final timeout. And after that loss all the way back to the 15-yard line, Minnesota may get good field position.
And I was about to say, a sack doesn't kill you here unless you do this. If you get sacked there, so be it. But you can't run around and lose this kind of yardage. This is a rookie mistake. Step back up into the pocket. If you get sacked, so be it. Now all you've lost is 4, 5, 6 yards, but you can't scramble around like this and knock off the yardage that you did.
That is a 22-yard loss. And only the second time Minnesota has been able to sack Andrew Luck in the game today, and Griffin flexing his muscles in celebration.
McAfee needs to angle this punt a little bit to eliminate any possibility of return. See if you can get it towards the sideline. Pin the return, because unless he pulls off another one of those 75-yarders, they're going to have a chance to return this pretty good. You want as minimal return as you can.
McAfee has been a huge weapon in this game today in a couple of tough spots. Twice out of his own end zone. Now punts inside of his own 5. And this one not as good. Returnable for Sherrills from the 41. Crossing midfield. And Sherrills is tackled at the 45-yard line. Great field position. 2:50 to go. No timeouts remain for Christian Ponder and the Minnesota offense. Their last drive found Harvin a couple of times. He was unable to get on the field on 4th down. The tip ball through the fingertips of Rudolph into the arms of Stephen Burton for a touchdown to bring him within 7, and that's where we are with 2:50 to go.
Minnesota with no timeouts, so they're going to have to do this with 2 minutes and 50 seconds. Can use the 2-minute warning as a stoppage, but they're going to have to do this one on their own.
Harvin for no gain. And is the ball loose? No. Tell you what, Jarrell Freeman, we talked about he played in the Canadian Football League for 3 years. His NFL debut, he had 13 tackles. As Harvin again is being monitored. It looks like again it's his right leg. We thought it was a calf earlier. That's Freeman stripping it out of there.
Yeah, the knee was down, so we're safe there. Yeah, this has all the earmarks of a cramp, which is a good thing long term. Not helping him right now.
Well, he continues to lock up. We'll take a break. Well, Percy Harvin still standing on the Minnesota sideline. Been bothered, it appears, with cramping here in his fourth quarter. 1:59 to go. Minnesota down a score. And a screen is set up for Peterson, and that didn't fool anybody. Clock continues to run. Vikings are out of timeouts. And Harvin still stands on the sideline. Jump ball for Jenkins, and it's broken up, covered beautifully by Gerard Powers in the corner of the end zone. Now Harvin trots back onto the field for Minnesota.
Nice job. Obviously at a height disadvantage. Jenkins is up, got his hands on it. At that point, you're just playing your hands up through the arms, hoping you can come up with ball. This is an excellent play by Powers on the taller and bigger Jenkins.
Third down and 9. Harvin back in there. Crossing pattern, catch and a first down for Peterson. And he's down to the 10-yard line. 1:20 to go. He broke a tackle from Zibikowski, but it was able to get him down on the ground. They pitch it to Peterson, and man, you can't play it any better than Moses Foku did right there. We're under a minute.
They've got to keep pressing the tempo here a little bit. Nice job pulling the trigger.
Second down and goal. Ponder looking in the corner, and it's a penalty. They'll get Justin King. He was flagged 3 times last week against Chicago for pass interference.
Yeah, he gets caught right here. You're going to see him. He gets caught on the outside trying to transition back inside and just gets his hands on him in the end zone. That's going to get called.
Holding. Number 21 to the defense. It's a 5-yard penalty. Automatic first down.
Part is the clock is now stopped, and it gives Minnesota a chance for a more orchestrated call.
All right, Coach Billick, again, back to your play calling days. You're down after the penalty. You're going to be down close to the 5-yard line, right at the 5-yard line. What are you thinking about here with a time and goal?
They're going to take their big man Rudolph, probably clear him out. If you get a nice jump ball to the back of the end zone, you'll take it. Then bring Harvin, maybe Aroma should do someone underneath. Give yourself the option of the touchdown to check down. Over here in a bunch alignment, well, excuse me, a bunch alignment on the left side is where that usually happens.
Well, some bodies got tangled up. It was Aroma should do it. Powers. Second down.
And he had Rudolph at the back of the end zone. Typically when a team bunches up like that, they run that 3-man combination, clear, pick, pivot back underneath the route, shallow cross across the field, give yourself lots of options. Here they come back again. Now they spread themselves out. Got the 3-man side to the left side. That's typically where the action is.
And it is Kyle Rudolph for the touchdown. A point after away from tying this game in the final seconds. Who would have thunk it, the way the momentum was not going for Minnesota in this game? With 9 minutes, 8 minutes left to play in the fourth quarter. They have scored twice.
Well, if nothing else, Christian Ponder stays cool to the end. Pulled it out against Jacksonville with a couple big throws. Obviously, this has got to be good.
And it is good. 20-20. Ponder A pair of touchdowns here in the final 7 minutes of the fourth quarter.
Just dragging the tight little pivot route right here. Sets up the linebacker. That's tough on the linebacker right there. You can't get your hands on him. The whole world is watching. That's a mismatch right there to end up with Freeman on the big Rudolph, all 6'6" of him.
Boy, Rudolph's got a chance to be a mighty good one for a long time. He is so athletic for such a big man. May remember he was the most coveted tight end in all of college football and then got hurt his senior year at Notre Dame. Well, they still drafted him early in the second round in Minnesota. Played through some hamstring issues last year. Well, they're banking on a big year this year, and that's a big touchdown catch.
Well, he's got the combination that every team is looking for in a tight end. He's got size, he's got athleticism, he's got great hands. Not the best point of attack blocker just yet, but he'll get there. He'll learn to use his hands and use that leverage that the really good ones do.
All right, so 31 seconds left to go. Indianapolis has a couple of timeouts, and you saw Andrew Luck urging his teammates to say, you can read his lips, we have enough time to win this thing. And they'll get it at the 20. All right, Brian Billick, I go back to you once again. As you look at the numbers in the fourth quarter, only 1 yard for Indianapolis. You've been so conservative, have the Colts, here in the fourth quarter with a 2-touchdown lead, what was. Are you going to put it on Andrew Luck's back with 31 seconds left to get you in field goal range?
Yeah, you do. You got 2 timeouts. This is your first overall pick. This is your franchise quarterback. You've got the weapons to do it with. You've got to be smart about it. But with 2 timeouts, you've got a chance. Remember, we're only talking about field goal position here.
Luck rolling, throws. Up to the 40-yard line. And they'll call a timeout. They'll have 1 left. It's a gain of 20.
You're talking a minimum of 25 to 30 yards now. You've used one of your timeouts. You'd like to hold that last timeout in your back pocket to get your field goal team in if you need it.
And again, if you believed in Vinatieri, and you saw there a moment ago, I mean, it has been a long time since he's hit from 57 yards. We showed you earlier he was hitting from 59 yards, but that was in pregame kicks. You would have to get to the 40-yard line of Minnesota to set up a potential 57-yard field goal try.
Of course, we saw David Akers kick a 63-yarder, so let's don't discount old men now.
No,
okay?
no. I wouldn't do it. Never
Something
do
about
it.
experience in there that.
Blitz coming. Luck. Reggie Wayne, and that's the mark we just set. As the Colts will spend a timeout, stopping the clock with 18 seconds.
Yeah, now that you've used that timeout with 18 seconds, you have time now since you're on first down. You can get the ball off reasonably. You don't have to just to throw an out route that gets you out of bounds because you have time to come up and clock it. You know, you don't get the full down and distance. Now you're on second down. You come up and clock it, hit the dirt, and you're into third down. You still have some time to orchestration here. So now that puts the pressure on the Minnesota defense. Normally it'd say, okay, take away the out routes. But Andrew Luck can drop the ball underneath or throw the ball in the middle of the field because he does have that down to burn to go up and kill it.
That red line is where they would need to get Vinatieri a career long tying attempt, and they're going to do better now. Now they'll have to hurry to the line, spike the ball. That's at the 32. Josh Robinson getting tangled up.
Yeah,
with Avery there. They're going to stop the clock.
Right. But at some point they got to recrank it back up if the defensive guy keeps them. Well, now they're calling a penalty offsides. We did not see the flag. But here the defender, they've got to let him go. Obviously the clock is a factor. You can't do this. The officials have to stop the clock. That's the best part about this penalty right now. is it stops the clock. They'd obviously turn this thing down because you picked up more yardage, it looks like.
Flag was thrown on the far side of the field.
It looks like it didn't see because he just literally dropped it out of his pocket.
Well, they're going to crank the clock back up. As soon as they
got to get ready.
Blow the whistle.
Offsides. Defense. It's a 5-yard penalty. Remain first down.
So they took the penalty. The difference was negligible.
Yep.
But you got to be ready to crank this thing up because it's you. 13 seconds on the snap. You still have time to clock this thing, but right now you better think about routes to the outside.
They don't have to crank the clock back up now because the penalty was on the defense. So Luck is probably going to take a knee and spike it, and there he happened. So out will come.
Well, I'm not quite sure the need to do that.
No, you didn't need it because the clock wasn't going to start. That's
right.
what Andrew Luck was asking the official about. And the official's telling him the penalty was on the defense.
Well, here comes the field goal team either way. That was kind of a missed exchange there. Missed opportunity for Indianapolis maybe to get a few more yards. But with Adam Vinatieri, you got to feel confident about your chances.
Should be 12 seconds on the clock. 12 seconds.
So here he comes. This will be from 53 yards. 12 of 25 in his career from 50 and beyond. Good snap. Good hold. Does he have enough? Yes! Adam Vinatieri, 53 yards away to give Indianapolis a 3-point lead. 8 seconds remain. Colts fans feeling today what Vikings fans felt a week ago.
Just the way you script it up. Dire situation. Bring in your first-round draft choice, Andrew Luck. Take it down the length of the field with some big-time throws. Chuck Pagano realizes this could be a defining moment, all but in the young career of this very young football team. This validates everything he's been talking about since he took the job in January.
Now, bear in mind now, this baby is not over. 8 seconds left. I would imagine they are going to do everything they can to keep this kick from landing in the arms of number 12, who is unquestionably the most dangerous kickoff return man today in the NFL. I mean, Hester's been a good one for a long time. But if you had to pick one guy, I'm taking Harvard.
Yeah, this thing, well, I don't know. Devin Hester's pretty good. This thing's going to be squibbed. It's a moot point because they're going to squib this thing, hoping one of these big linemen in the front line end up with it. Or not. Boy, he's confident enough about kicking out. Good for him.
No timeouts for Minnesota. Boy, how money has that guy been low these many years? Of course, in New England, Super Bowl winning kicks, instrumental in the Colts Super Bowl title in 2006. And 8 seconds away is Chuck Pagano for his first win as an NFL head coach.
That's a special time. That game ball is going to be on his den wall, I promise you, or bookcase. That's a special time, your first win as an NFL head coach.
Catch made by Jenkins, and that's at the 35-yard line. Don't know if they have enough time now to make another completion and give their field goal unit a try. I mean, we know Walsh can kick them a long way. We will have bonus coverage for many of you coming up. The Giants have just tied Tampa Bay with 1:23 left. So at the conclusion of this one, we'll have that one. Aroma should do. And that's it.
Congratulations to Chuck Pagano.
His first win as an NFL head coach. Andrew Luck, his first win as an NFL quarterback.